Long before Dudleytown was carved into the Connecticut wilderness, its curse had already been set in motion, across an ocean, in England. The story begins in the 1510s with Edmund Dudley, a nobleman who attempted to seize power following the death of King Henry VII. His ambitions were short-lived. He was executed for treason, and it said that as his head rolled from the block, a woman in the crowd placed a curse on his name: "Your seed will rot in dark soil, and your kin shall choke on their own minds." Several generations later, 3 Dudley descendants, Gideon, Abel, and Barzillai, sailed to the New World. They wanted freedom. What they found was isolation. In 1740, they and a few other settlers established a small community nestled deep in the Litchfield Hills of Connecticut. Rich forest. High elevation. Cold winds. They called it home. But locals called the area something else. The Silent Hollow. Strange things happened almost immediately. Crops failed. Wolves howled even during daylight. Children spoke of figures standing between the trees, whispering in a language no one knew. Still, the town grew. Briefly. By 1792, Dudleytown had become a cluster of farms and cabins. 30 to 40 people lived there: woodsmen, blacksmiths, families. Then the madness began. Sarah Fenn, a quiet schoolteacher, was found screaming in her garden, clawing at her own skin. She claimed a shadow was trying to wear her face. She died in an asylum. A week later, her husband hanged himself in their barn. Daniel Whipple, a war veteran, marched shirtless through the town square in the snow, saluting invisible armies. He vanished into the forest. His body was never recovered. Then came the disappearances. A young boy named Elijah went into the woods to collect berries and never returned. His footprints stopped mid-path, as though something lifted him straight off the ground. A family was found frozen around their hearth, their bodies stiff with terror, eyes wide open. The fire had gone out. Their doors were still locked from the inside. No one could explain it. And no one could leave. People tried. Horses refused to cross the town's edge. Wheels splintered. Roads washed out. It was as if the land had teeth. By the early 1800s, the survivors simply stopped speaking to outsiders. Then they stopped speaking at all. Around 1900, the final resident, a reclusive farmer named Horace Greeley, abandoned his home. He left no note. Just one word carved into his cabin door: forgotten. By 1920, Dudleytown had vanished from maps. The area, now part of the dense, tangled dark entry forest, was reclaimed by nature. Or so people believed. Hikers who strayed too far in reported overwhelming dizziness and nausea. Some claimed to hear a buzzing in their heads, as though the air itself was screaming. A group of thrill-seekers camped there in the 1940s. Only one made it out. He said the forest whispers when you're not listening. His hands were covered in scratches, none of them self-inflicted. He never spoke again. The trees are strange here. Bent. Twisted. As if recoiling from something beneath the soil. Wildlife avoids it. Birds never sing. Time seems slower. Watches break. Compass needles spin. Local lore says the forest knows when you don't belong. It lets you in, but not always out. Today, Dudleytown is legally off-limits. The land is private, patrolled, fenced off with warnings. But people still try to go. Ghost hunters. Paranormal bloggers. Thrill-seeking teenagers. Some return shaken, unable to speak of what they saw. Others return with nothing, no recordings, no photos. Only silence. Some never return at all. Locals say you'll know you've crossed into Dudleytown when the light changes. The shadows get longer. The sky dulls. Birds vanish. And suddenly, the world feels muffled, like you're underwater. Then the dread creeps in. It's not panic. Not fear. It's despair, deep, existential despair, as if something ancient and nameless has remembered you, and is reaching up from the roots to taste your soul. One woman who visited on a dare in the 1990s said, "I don't remember walking out. I just remember the forest, pushing. Like it was done with me." And so Dudleytown remains. A forgotten name. A poisoned land. A town cursed by blood, devoured by madness, and swallowed by the forest that once stood watch. And still stands watching. Even now.